And what's up, everybody? This is Terminator Juice, and this is going to be the first episode in a series of videos I'm going to do weekly on Mondays. I titled it Mario Kart Mondays just because for now I'm going to be talking about the results from my Thursday night tournament, give the new rules, and in this video after that I'm going to go over some improvements I would like to see to the structure of the tournament. Tournaments in Mario Kart 8. So yeah, as usual, if you're watching this on YouTube right now live, switch over to Google Plus. That's the way you can participate and ask questions that I'll be able to see and stuff. So yeah, every time I like create the video or the live stream, give it a name and set it for a later date, I always get all these comments on YouTube, and so I'm just guessing people, my subscribers on YouTube, are seeing that instead of going to Google Plus. And like I said, I think in my last video that I did by myself, I love Google Plus. It's really the place to go to find all the uploads. People's videos pop up on there, and then there's just people sharing all kinds of articles and stuff. So if you don't use Google Plus, I would highly recommend it. I'm a big fan. Follow the Active Gamer Life network, and Francis at P Nintendo. I see all the up-to-date news that way. So anyway, I'm gonna go over the results for last week's tournament called "The Juice is Loose" is the name of my tournament. I'm hoping people that actually race in the tournament watch my videos, because I'd like to have some conversations with you guys and find out how you feel about the way it's going, the random rules and stuff. Last week it was bombs only. Everything else was the same, 150cc, and it was all vehicles. I had a blast. At first I was struggling with the bombs, and I actually forgot the first race. I was like, oh yeah, this is bombs only, and I was struggling. I was in the back of the pack for the first 3 races. And then I just figured out a technique. I got lucky in a couple races, started getting up into the top half, and then eventually I was averaging about 3rd place for probably 6 races in a row. And another thing that happened, I added the computer AI, the hard difficulty, and some people were in a group of like 2 or 3. I believe Rodjon or Rodney. I believe he was racing with like 2 other guys for a while. Then they joined ours when a couple people dropped out, and he already had like 75 points. So there was two lobbies, and I'm going to talk about some of the improvements later. But that's one thing I'd like to see Nintendo do. But before we go any further, I'm just going to go off the results. First place was Harden 25. He dominated, won easily. And his Mii character looks just like the last week's winner, which was Josh. And I sent a message saying, "Are you the same person?" He didn't answer. So if you're watching this, just let me know, because I would assume you're the same. I mean, both times you're on a sport bike, and looked like the same Mii character. So congratulations again. If that was you, you're unstoppable, dude. I gotta come up with a nickname for you, like Harden 25, the Unbeatable, or something. You just put us all to shame both weeks. Well, the first week was a little bit closer, but Jason K didn't come back this last week. So second place was Andrew. I thought I was going to get you for a little bit, and then I had a couple bad races at the end. And I had one extra race because I joined as soon as the flag came up on the tournament, but somehow I missed the first race. So I got the one extra race against mostly CPU and I think 3 other guys, and I got 11th, and just totally screwed me over, because I don't know if I could have got second at that point, but I definitely would have got third. Third place went to Rodjon, and I think that's short for Rodney Johnson, if I'm not mistaken. He was one that came over from the group with the racing against the CPU, and he had an extra couple races than me. I was in third. About 20 minutes later, I looked at the results again, and he had passed me, so I got 4th place. 5th place was Sora Life. 6th place was Timothy, a.k.a. Derek Steelfox. 7th was EOTA, which I always forget. I think you told me what that stood for once, or I think I knew, but I forget. So if you're watching this, let leave in the comments what that stands for. 8th place was Wheels Pig. 9th place was my boy Win Again. You were doing good in the beginning, and then I started consistently getting up in the top, and I overtook you, Timothy, and EOTA there. And then at 10th was Lee 87. It was a tough one last week. I think he got 3rd, and it was just a rough go of it. I mean, if you got some bad luck, you got hit by a couple bombs, you were screwed. There was no way to catch up unless the first place guys were bombing each other. So 11th was TD, the kid, and that was pretty much the guys that raced the whole time. And then there was 3 guys that raced a few races. We had Blake at 12th, Twilight at 13th, and Marco raced 1 race, was at 14th. Twilight, he came in like 8 races in. He won the first race, and I was like, damn, come in first race he wins. And then I think he realized that he came in late, saw the points difference. He raced the second race partially, and then he was in the back and backed out. But if you're watching this, dude, you know, I understand. I think we were 8 races in when you came in. There was no chance. You know, you don't want to race a bunch by yourself at the end. So, you know, it sucks, but I appreciate you joined for a little bit there. So yeah, that was the rankings. We had one more person than the week before, and yeah, it was a good time. The bombs only was interesting. Like I said, it was tough at first, but then I figured out a little technique or trick, if you will, strategy, and I started doing better, and I had fun. You know, the guys that finished down at the bottom, you know, I was kind of there last week. I got 6, but you know, I hope people don't lose their, you know, drive to keep playing, because you know, the one guy keeps winning, Harden 25. You know, it should be about having fun, and I think it is. So I appreciate everyone that stayed through to the end, even if you were doing terrible. I really appreciate you guys racing all 16 races. So appreciate that. And you know, once you hear the rules this week, you might be a little happier. So I did a random rules again, 20-sided die. And the one thing before I'm going to get into that, I'm going to try the shuffle player on option, which apparently every 4 races it shuffles. So if we got 12 people and then you get in late and you're like a group of 2 or 3, just hang in there for 4 races, and apparently this will reshuffle. So everyone plays somebody different each time. And you know, when I go over my improvements of what I'd like to see happen to the game, I'll kind of go into that further. So the class, no surprise, 150cc. I think it has a 70% chance of coming up, and compared to the 20% chance of 100cc and 10% chance, or actually it's not even a 10% chance, it's a 5% chance of 50cc coming up. Items, this one disappointed me, but it's all items again. You know, everyone's comfortable with that. I did, you know, I'm going to stick to my guns. I did the roll, and that's what came up, so I'm going to stick with it. That one's the most likely anyway, but for me personally, I like trying different things, so hopefully next week we won't get all items. But here's the interesting part, vehicles. It's going to be bikes only this week, so you know, those of you that love the karts and stuff, that won't be an option. Hopefully that won't turn anyone off. You know, you can be the standard bike, works quite similar to a kart. It has the same drifting and power sliding ability. The sport bikes are the ones that are real tricky. I'm still trying to learn and get better with the sport bike, and you know, I am in time trials. I do okay, but in the races I just suck, because once you get hit, especially with Rosalina, the acceleration's so bad that it feels like you're sitting there forever before you get started again. So, but yeah, it'll be bikes only, which should be interesting. You know, there's quite a few people that were racing bikes anyway. TLH 14, she didn't race last week, but she was there the first time. I'm hoping she comes back, because she rides on the bike, and she's good competition, and kind of missed having her there, because I kind of made her my rival when I saw in the Player Essence tournament I raced against her. She's got me beat like 6-19. Like, she's finished ahead of me 19 times. I've only finished ahead of her like 6, so I definitely want to close that gap a bit. So yeah, that's it for you know, the rules and the results of last week's. Again, if you're watching this, if you haven't raced, this is the code to get in. It stays the same every time. It's called the Juice is Loose, and yeah, it's randomly selected rules every week, and yeah, that just made it all blurry, and I don't know how to fix it. So sorry about that. Anyway, I want to go over some improvements after playing the game. Let me see if I can. No, it's still gonna be blurry. I've been playing the game. I got about 45 to 50 hours in the 2.5 weeks the game's been out. Most of that was spent trying to get the 150cc unlocked. I finally got 3 stars on all 8 cups. It was very frustrating at times. It was that damn lightning cup. I could never get past the Grumble Volcano, and if I did, you know, the one time I did, I got like freaking 9th on Rainbow Road. So I finally had first on through the 3 races, and then I just did it with Lemmy, I think, in a cart and slick tires or something, and finally did that. So I started mirrored mode, which it's actually pretty cool because seems like you see things from a new perspective, and I've learned routes and ways to cut corners and hit shortcuts in the mirror mode that I didn't see in the standard mode, so that was interesting. But yeah, I played in quite a few tournaments. I did Francis's endurance tournament twice, which just don't have the time on a Sunday to play the whole thing, but I've participated. So my biggest thing that they need to change, if I create a tournament and I go in that lobby, it should give me the option to start the first race. Like it may be automatic after 2 minutes, but it'll start as soon as there's 2 players in there. It starts up. It's just boom. And I missed getting in, and a couple other people missed getting in the first race. And the week before, it was just 3 guys the first time, and then came back. We had a full lobby of 12. So I wish there was an option for the tournament creator to wait for after the first race in the tournament to wait for the players to get in there, because it starts at 9 and I got in right away and I missed the first race. So if they only made one improvement to, you know, the tournament side of it, that would be the #1 thing I would suggest. And unfortunately, they didn't talk about any Mario Kart 8 improvements, so we might not see that. The next thing that I would really like is to have Nintendo Network IDs displayed next to the name in the results category, and before the race starts, when it shows all the people, it shows they're from the United States or whatever country in the state. If they had the Nintendo Network ID right there, then it'd be a lot easier to associate people, because there's people that I know by their ID, but I don't know by their me name. So I'm like, who's this person? And then I go later and find, oh, it's that person. So the fact that they don't even reference the Nintendo Network ID at any point in Mario Kart 8, it bugs me, and it was very surprising when I started playing the game that it was just all based off me's, and I just think that's kind of silly to have the Nintendo Network IDs and not even use them in that game. So that would be the next thing I would fix. This one probably not going to happen, but voice chat in tournaments. I can understand regional and worldwide, but to not have it in tournaments, there's people create the tournament and then they give out the code and they get people racing, especially if they're on your friends list. There's no reason you shouldn't be able to talk to them in between races. That's just, it's kind of ridiculous that it's not there. I don't think they're going to change it, but that would be another thing I'd like. I'd also like, if we had, let's say, 14 people, instead of 12 in one lobby and 2 in another, I don't see why it can't split it into 7 and 7, 2 separate lobbies of 7. So I'm kind of hoping the shuffling thing might fix that a little bit, but yeah, it just makes sense to, why would you have 12 people racing and then have another lobby with 2? I'd like to see them divide that up as even as possible. You know, if it was 15, then do 8 and 7. I think that would really benefit the tournaments that, you know, especially even Game Explain, they have 800 people or whatever they had. There's still going to be one group at the end that's only going to be 3-4 people. So it'd be nice if they could split up the last 2 lobbies into even numbers. So it's another thing. This one really, for me, would be awesome, doing the random rules. Instead of just only having one item, or no items or all items, how about we can just turn off one item? Just have each item listed on or off, like red shells, blue shells, green shells, all this on or off. I think Smash has a structure like that with the items, and just say turn blue shells off. Boom, everyone would do it. Guarantee it. People would be ecstatic if they could do that. And then you could mix it up. You could have mushrooms and banana peel. I mean, you could have a whole million combinations, and I think it would really add to the experience. And just having green shells only or shells only, that means green, reds, and blues, I would assume. That seems kind of silly. Just be able to turn off the homing, like the red or the blues. I think that would be a huge benefit. And I didn't put it as my first improvement I'd like to see, but it's right up there at the top. Next thing, I'd like to see 150cc in the regional and worldwide. This doesn't have to do with tournaments, but when you go race regional and you go race worldwide, just randomly put you in a lobby, it's 100cc. You have to like go to create a room and create 150cc and wait for people to join. Just have regional 100cc, regional 150cc, worldwide 100cc, worldwide 150cc. Seems like a no-brainer. Hopefully they'll consider that. The other things I have, game invites. That would be nice. You can join friends' game, but you can't send them an invite. You can't join them from outside the game. And like maybe if you're not going to do a system overhaul, just put in the game itself a quick text messaging system like Call of Duty has, and say, hey, I'm going to be racing in this tournament, or hey, I'm going to be in the friends lobby, come join me, and something that pops up on screen. I think a lot of people feel that same way. They wish there was an invite system and a better messaging system. So that's kind of the list of things that I really care about. The battle arenas would be nice if we get some DLC. Maybe with the amiibo figurines, when they finally make it work for Mario Kart 8, we'll see some DLC or something, and maybe they can improve. Because battle mode could be fun too. You could have like a battle mode tournament, and if it was on actual battle arenas, I think a lot more people would be interested in that. So basically that's it. My improvements, I think it's pretty common sense. A couple of them, no one's talked about the Nintendo Network IDs. I think I might be the only one who's asking for that to be in Mario Kart 8, but that's just me. And the wait to start option when you start a tournament, especially even if it's just the first race, you can just hold it till you get more players. There's a phrase that says let's wait for more players, but there's no option for anyone to stop it from starting, so it seems kind of weird. Maybe that's just an oversight. So like I said in the beginning, this is going to be a weekly thing. I'm going to try to do it every Monday, maybe Tuesday. Give props to the winner of the tournament from the week before, and kind of go over that, give the new rules. And I'm not always going to be talking about Mario Kart 8. I'll just do that first, and then maybe if there's some other newsworthy stuff or things on my mind, I'll discuss that. And I also want to mention the Zelda U discussion video I did, a live stream on Saturday night with 3 guys I'd never met before, never talked to before. We had Leo the Wise, NW Ordier, forget the number at the end, and then Mr. Red Fox. I threw out an open invitation. They joined in, and we had a great discussion. It's a 2-hour video, so I can understand why people wouldn't want to watch it, but if you watch it in segments, it's actually okay. Like I do listen to podcasts from Leveled Head and Active Gamer, and sometimes they get over 2 hours. KFD, his was like almost 3 hours last time. What I do is I just put it on. My smart TV's got a YouTube app, and I just listen when I play games on my Wii U on the gamepad, and I'll listen to podcasts and stuff that way. So if you guys get a chance, if you're a Zelda fan, we had a really good discussion. 4 different people coming with 4 different from ideas for what they'd like to see with Zelda, but we all had one thing in common. We all like the new art style, and we were all really excited for the game. So check that out. Check out Leo the Wise has a YouTube channel. He's just getting started. Mr. Red Fox is doing it as long as me or longer. Go check them out. The other guy, we called him Mike. His YouTube name was like NW Order, like New World Order. He doesn't do content, so but yeah, I want to thank those guys again if any of them are watching. They said they were going to join in on the Mario Kart 8 tournaments, so hopefully they do. Look forward to seeing them. And one last thing, I keep getting friend requests from people that I have either not raced against or I don't know them from YouTube, like because some people's YouTube name's different than their Nintendo Network ID. If I've had any conversation with you, or if we raced in my tournaments, I'll definitely add you as a friend. That way, it's just a little bit easier sometimes to race with people. But if I've never talked to you, or we've never had any exchange of comments, or I don't know where you come from YouTube. Maybe leave me your YouTube name in the friend request. But I've said this before, I just don't want to fill up my friends list with people I don't know. Then when you see them sign on, I'm just like, I already have 2 people where I have absolutely no idea. I added them when I first got the Wii U, and I think it might have been through the Miiverse, and maybe they had a cool drawing or something. But I've never played with them, never raced against them in Mario Kart or any other game, and I just honestly don't remember how we even became friends. So, I'm 35 years old. My memory isn't the greatest. I'm ashamed to say. I actually kind of scared at the fact. Sometimes I have trouble remembering people's names from high school, which is 17 years ago now. But so yeah, if we race in the tournament, and I'll definitely add you as a friend. I think I had a request or a question from a guy. And yeah, that was kind of my answer. I said, hey, you're racing the tournament? Now I'll add you as a friend. That's kind of the way it's going to work right now. Sorry if that offends anybody, but that's just the way I roll. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Thursday nights, 9 o'clock Pacific time, or Eastern time, 6 o'clock Pacific. The tournament starts. Try to get there right as it starts. Otherwise, you're going to get thrown in you'll be a couple races behind, like some people join late. So yeah, I look forward to keeping this up. Hopefully we can get at least 10 people is fine. It starts getting less than that, and it's not going to be as cool. So if we can get at least 1 full group, maybe 2, that would be awesome. And I'm going to keep doing them until no one shows up. So look forward to seeing you guys on the track. Hopefully you can make it. And if anyone wants to race another night and say, hey, I can't do it Thursdays ever, I can always change the day up, or I can create another tournament, maybe like a weekend one. So you guys let me know. Give me some feedback. And if you have raced in the tournament and you're watching this, or if you watch my other videos, just say, hey, this is so and so from the tournament. That way I'll know, because I don't know your me character to your YouTube name. So yeah. Well, that's all I got to say, guys. Thanks for watching. Don't know when I'll do the next video. I think I pretty much said all I'm going to say about E3 and all that. So I don't know when something's going to come up. If not, it'll just be next Monday. I'll do the next one of these, and yeah, that's going to be it. So appreciate you for watching again, and we'll see you next time.